Let us try that again, shall we? Oh, sorry about the beeping. Yeah. It's Thursday, it's the 14th of May. Halfway through May already. Looks like we got summer kind of weather happening here. There are leaves on the trees, the sun is shining, I don't see any clouds anywhere. It is Taxi Vlog 357. I did this little segment already, but somebody didn't go when it was their turn to go, so I accelerated a little harshly, and the camera went flying against the window on that side, and when I came back to it, it said no image. So what must have happened was the battery disconnected itself when it impacted and did not record the entire vlog segment. So, I came out on Monday and it was slow like usual on a Monday this time of year. Just before 10 o'clock I got a call, and that call ended on the Gorge Road, and I was sent to a place about 2 blocks away from there. Immediately I connected on the Gorge. And when I got there, this girl was walking up from elsewhere, and she got in. Her name was the name on my screen, and she went for a nice, pleasant ride out into the country in Brentwood Bay. And that was like $45 or so, and she was really happy because it was about $5 less than what it usually costs her. So included in that $45 was a $10 tip, which was really nice. Oh, traffic light. Red traffic light. So I was very pleased with that. And then when I got back into town, it was kind of quiet, but I had my lease and fuel on, and I had almost 8 hours in which to make a profit, so it worked out pretty good. I had a couple other connections like that. Tuesday was about the same. And around 10 o'clock or so, I had one run that went out to Langford, which got me to the point where I was breaking even once again around 10 o'clock. Or just a bit later. But that's okay. I had another 8 hours in which to make my money. And yes, it was slow, and yes, it was quiet. And there were a few times where I did take a nap. I was watching some really dry, boring documentaries on YouTube. And at one point I fell asleep. I guess it was after 3. And I got a trip that went downtown, and as I was leaving downtown to come out to the north end where I usually work, I got another fare, which, oh cool, hope they wait, because it's kind of far. I got another call, and the guy was going to the hospital. He had trouble breathing. I couldn't tell if it was a virus or not a virus or allergies, but he had trouble breathing, and he was laboriously having trouble breathing. He was about 20 years old, and yeah, I got him to the hospital, and he was quite thankful. And as soon as I cleared from that call, I got another one down to the south and east of Oak Bay. So I went all the way out. There was a 4 o'clock time call, and I pulled into the driveway at 3:58. And there were these 2 bags, luggage, on the front stoop. So as I walked towards the house, the front door opens up, and I said, those 2 bags? And she said, yes, we're taking those 2 bags. Great, I said. She said, we're going to the airport. I said, all right. And we had a pleasant, enjoyable conversation all the way out there for a $60 fare. Got 65 for it. Can't complain. Got back into town that Wednesday morning, and there was not much happening, but I did well. I had done well. Very well, as a matter of fact. So then last night, that was the Wednesday night, I came out to work and it was the same thing. Slow again. And I guess it was, I don't know, 10 o'clock. And once again, got one that went out to the Western Communities, to Langford. Broke even once again. Did I mention the one to Brentwood Bay? Yeah, I did. Anyway, it was going okay. It was going good. There had been a concert, April Wine concert at the Royal Theatre, and I took some people down there, and I didn't expect much from it. But later on that night, oh, it's one of my regular customers, actually, that I'm going to pick up right now. Got sent to an apartment building not far from where I like to work, and picked up these 4 boys, and I'm going, uh-oh. They had redneck written all over them. And as soon as they got in the car, they said, we're going to Langford. Okay, Langford. Said, we were at the April Wine concert. Can you turn up the tunes on 100.3? Okay, the one in the front was pretty rude. And when we got out to someplace near the Log House pub, him and his other buddy were getting out. It was $30 up to that point. And the other 2 boys, who were much better behaved, much more polite, much more pleasant, went all the way out to Machosen for another $35 on top of that $30. So I had done really well. That was last night, the Tuesday night. Nope, Wednesday night. Anyway, so far the week, I've got my leases paid in Interax. I've had enough cash to pay for my criminal records check, my driver's medical, and I still have enough left for, well, I will have enough for groceries. And I will have to pay for my driver's license, but I think I'll do that next month once I've got the other stuff out of the way. Driver's licenses are due for renewal on your birthday every 5 years, and this is the year where it comes up. So anyway, I hope this particular segment worked. I don't want to have to do it a 3rd time. Suffice it to say that the week is going pretty well. The weather is beautiful today. And I've got my 2nd call that I'm on my way to. And I'm not too far from it right now. She's usually still there. Anyway, I'll talk to you sooner. Better take these off. Well, Thursday night concludes right about here. And here's what happened. It was going pretty steady and pretty good until about 9 o'clock. And then I sat for an hour. And then just before 10, I got a fare, and I got another fare, I got another fare, I got another fare. Such that I guess it was almost 11 when I called Cindy to touch base with her, and At that point in time, I guess around 11 or so, I had my lease and fuel on. So I didn't have to worry about, you know, getting my expenses together because I already had them. And then it took about the whole morning. I mean, I sat for an hour and a half, and another time I sat for an hour, and one time I sat for an hour and a half. I did a lot of sitting and waiting, and I didn't have any long trips in that time between 11:30 and 5. I think I made $60 all morning. $60 profit. Yay. And then I got back to the parking lot where I usually sit and wait for stuff to happen. And I was gonna read from my book. Oh, I made some progress. I'm about 2/3 of the way through this sucker now. It's still Existence by David Brin. Yes, sir. I hope within a week or so to be finished reading this book, because I've watched a lot of those YouTube videos that were suggested for me, and it keeps suggesting the same ones over and over again, so I must have gone through the stuff that interests me mostly. So anyway, it was 5 minutes to 5, and I got sent to one of those little streets off of Portage Road. I had been there so infrequently in the past that I had to look it up in my map book. Here is the map book, and I had to look up where that street was. And it's a little street. It's got about 6 houses on it. And it's a little cul-de-sac, doesn't go anywhere. It's right on the shore of, it's on the shore. It's waterfront. So I get there and there's no numbers on the house, but I'm thinking that's the right house because of the side of the street it's on and what the number is. And just as I'm shining my light, get my light over and show you what that's a light. I'm shining my light at the house, and this guy comes out carrying a backpack, and he says, as he gets in, "We need to make haste to the Swartz Bay Ferry." And I said something like, "Certainly," and so we did. So that was good for $60 on the meter, $69 on Interac. So that takes care of some of the expenses of tomorrow. I think I only need to come up with another $80 worth of Interac to pay for the whole lease of the week. And tonight, that is Friday night, I should easily come up with that. And there will be some more overs for me next Tuesday, which I will apply to the rent. So it looks like we're having another successful week. I've got enough money to get groceries and take Cindy to dinner already, and I make a little more, maybe we can get some scotch. That's tomorrow. I'm looking at maybe a bottle of Mortlach, maybe some Kleinelish. Yeah, and maybe even some rare breed wild turkey. That's what I'm thinking of. We'll see how that goes, and we'll see which store we end up at and what they have. Yeah, so this has been a successful Thursday. Once again, this week, I was saved by that long one. Every night of this week so far would have been really crap if not for that one trip. That one $50 or $60 trip. And It makes all the difference in the world. Well, just think. So far from these long trips that were unexpected, I got 69, 65, that's 134, and another 65. That's like $200 right there for 3 trips alone, and maybe another 100 from the other ones. So it's like, yeah, it makes a big difference. It makes $300 at least dollars in my pockets difference from what it would have been to what it is. I'm going to stop babbling now, and right about here I'll tell you about how tonight, the Friday night, is going to go for me, but how it went for you. Shut him up for a bit there. Okay. Now I'm going to try to do this handheld with a manual transmission because there's a policeman up ahead and I'm in my own car. Oh, the light turns red. Oh, good. Long story short, what happened is about a week ago, on Thursday or so, I had a problem with the headlight on the taxi, the right side front, and I asked the day shift guys if he was taking it in to get it fixed, and he said, yeah, I'll take it in. So I got the car back the next day, or the next night, put that in first. And let me put it in my other hand so that I can shift when the light changes. I have no place to mount this camera in here. Well, I sort of do. Well, let's see if that works. I'll put it down here. Can you see me? Hopefully you can see me. Okay. So what's going on is the headlight was out on the right side, and day shift said he was going to fix it, and there was no communication really going on, so I didn't know that they had a part on order for mounting the headlight in the socket, because the socket had been melted by the old headlight. So anyway, after a couple days, what I did was I managed to get a headlight in there a couple days later, because I was getting tired of having people blinking their lights at me because my headlight was out. So what I did was I got a headlight, put it in there, and managed to get it in there so that it would stay without the new part. And this after, of course, having it fall out of the socket once and then finding out I had only one headlight again. Then I opened up the hood. There's the headlight shining right at me from under the hood. Okay. Shove it back in, get it in there, get it working. Got it fixed. Then I met the day shift guy again. And I told him that on... I guess it was Thursday morning that I fixed it on Wednesday night. So now we had 2 headlights. They were working. And they worked fine. And so what did I do? I thought everything was great. So Friday I come out, I start to work. It's daylight till about after 9, and I clear from a trip at about 9:30. Then I'm driving on the road, and there's this car behind me shining their high beams at me. Well, where I come from, when you shine your high beams at me from behind, that means get out of the way. But they weren't driving any faster, and I wasn't going really slow, so I didn't know what all this blinking was about. No idea. Where I come from, blinking lights means move the fuck over because you're in my way. Over here, they don't understand that, usually. But I knew something was wrong at the back of the car, so I parked it. I looked at the back of the car, and there was nothing wrong with it. Then I asked another driver if, well, there were no taillights on. So I started looking. Had another driver who knew the car better than I did find the fuse, and the fuse for the taillight was blown out. Okay, there was a spare fuse for it. We put the spare fuse in and blew that one too. So I figured, well, maybe it has something to do with the top light, because the top light's been on and off, finicky. So I went to Walmart before it closed, and I got some fuses, and replaced the fuse again and blew it. It was a 10 amp fuse. So I thought, let's try a 20 amp fuse. Blew that one too. And I said, okay, that's it. It's unsafe. I cannot drive around without taillights on a car. So then I called the owner, who was on vacation. But it turns out he just got back. And tomorrow will be his first shift back from vacation. Anyway, I called him, left a message. 5 minutes later, he called me back saying, what's up? I told him, got no taillights, blew the fuse 4 times. And he says, oh, good. Well, I'm driving it in the morning, he said to me, so I can take care of it. And I said, lovely. That'll be great. So I'll just top up the fuel tank and park it, which is what I have done. Now I'm kind of demonstrating how short my ride home is, as we're only a couple minutes from home now. And so far, well, it is a long weekend. It is Victoria Day on Monday. So with a long weekend, the night is generally slow, and it has been slow so far. In fact, it's been freaking dead. I think I made $80 in 4 hours. For a Friday, that's nothing spectacular. And even if I made $30 an hour for the other 8 hours, which I doubt, so that would be about $240. So I would just top 300 for the night if I actually worked the whole thing. Meanwhile, I paid the lease on it, and I docked the owner $95 from the lease, because Friday is a $145 lease. I worked 4 hours, or I was out there for 4 hours of the time. I figure I'll pay $50 for that, dock him the other $95. I had a lot of interact from the rest of the week, so he still owes me $75. I love how that works. And I only worked 1/3 of the night, and it was slow. So that's it. You know, I'm finally I'm not even tired yet. I would have probably done a lot of sitting in the parking lot. Apparently right now it's busy, but okay, now it's what, 11 o'clock? 11:30. So between now and 3 it might be busy, and after 3 it'll be freaking dead again. People are on vacation, or people probably take the weekend off, go to Vancouver or go camping, because the weather's nice for camping. The weather's very nice for camping. Let's get around this corner here. And the camera only went flying a little bit. I didn't have any adhesive on the dashboard to keep it in one spot. So anyway, the night's over. We're gonna go home, have a couple drinks. I hope yours is better than mine. I'm about a block from home now. Yippee!